Welcome to Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris. Every week I'll discuss a beer that maybe we've forgotten along the way while we accumulate our check-ins and our badges. Some weeks I'll feature a new beer that has potential to be a classic. Being from Chicago, I'll talk about some local beers I had during the week. I'll add my spin to events of the day, and at the end of the show I'll call out the JAG Offs of the week. This week's beer will be Best Patio Pills from the 18th Street Brewery in Indiana. Let's kick this show off. All right, welcome everyone to the February 10th edition of Beer in Front. How's everyone doing? There was a lot of stuff happening this week. Has everyone recovered from the Super Bowl? It was a dull game. I guess if you're fans of Tampa Bay, it wasn't that dull to you. But I don't know, for me, even the commercials, nothing really packed a punch. That there was no really, big watercolor commercials like you saw in years past. Outside of the Will Ferrell one, for me, this was all just kind of dull. I want to thank all the new people that listened this week. This week, and I'm not really sure why, but this was the biggest week that I've had doing the show as far as listens and downloads. So I don't know if it was having the curse-free episode. I'm really not sure, but I'm going to keep the curse-free thing going. I'm going to ride this wave as long as I can. I don't know, maybe I could start an OnlyFans or a Patreon where subscribers could hear me drop the F-bomb all day. Or better yet, I could go on Zoom with that cat filter like the lawyer that was viral yesterday. I think people would pay top dollar to see me with a cat filter going, I am not a cat. I also mentioned last week the new book from Jeremy Banas called Sell Is White. I'm almost done with it now. I do recommend picking this one up if you're interested in the history of beer. If you happen to like Belgian white beers, this by all means, pick this up wherever you buy books at. It's called Sell Is White, and it's from the author Jeremy Banas. This coming week, on Tuesday, the 16th of February, that will be the 1-year anniversary of the podcast. So I'll be doing this for 1 year, 47 shows, over 2,000 listens, getting close to 2,500 now. So I do thank everyone. It does mean a lot to me, and we'll keep this thing going. What I want to do, and I'm going to kick it off on Twitter after I publish this episode, as a thank you to the people that follow me, the people that listen. I want to start a little contest and give away some swag to people. So I'm going to have if you follow me on Twitter, please follow me at Beer in Front. If you tag me in your photo with a photo of you drinking a beer, just a photo of your beer if you want, and then hashtag Beer in Front. And then next Tuesday, I'll pick a name out randomly. I'll use the Google random number generator, and I'll pick out someone randomly, and I'll send you out some Beer in Front swag. I have a pint glass, some stickers, a keychain, so I'll ship that out to somebody next week. So, yeah, please follow me on Twitter, and I'll post that info later on tonight after the show drops. In beer news, Anheuser-Busch is going to shift all of the production of Stella Artois over to the United States. Now, they claim that they're doing this to boost the American economy, but I'm guessing it's probably cheaper to make it here than to brew the beer overseas, ship it. So it's better for the environment. You're not shipping all this beer over here. But, they claim they're doing it to stimulate the American economy. I'm not sure I quite buy that. Hey, I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad there's jobs coming here. But I don't buy for 1 second, we're doing this to stimulate the economy. It's cheaper for you in the long run to do it. Also, Heineken announced yesterday that they're going to eliminate 8,000 jobs, and they're going to try to move beyond beer. I guess they're going to go more into seltzers and the non-alcoholic beer that everyone's drinking lately. I had some really good beer this week. One that I had last night that I posted on YouTube. Thanks to my buddy Trulin, who hooked me up from Breckenridge, brought me Mad Creek. Now, this is a Kolsch made by the Storm Peak Brewing Company, and it's a Kolsch that was brewed, or, it was made to reduce gluten. And I'm not a big Kolsch fan. I don't hate them, but it wouldn't be high on my list. But this was fantastic. I really liked this a lot. This was a great beer that I highly recommend. If you ever see this one, definitely pick this one up. It's called Mad Creek from the Storm Peak Brewing Company out in Breckenridge. I had another beer from Revolution that I really liked. This one was called Riot. It's a Keller beer. If you see it, grab it. This one's worth your time. And if you listened to last week's show, you heard me talk about they're getting rid of the 8-ounce cans and breweries, not able to find them. Well, I had St. Noel from St. Laurent. This is a Russian Imperial Stout in the perfect vessel for an Imperial Stout like this. This was the 8-ounce can. This was phenomenal. Pick this one up if you see it. This is a Russian Imperial Stout made with coffee, maple, vanilla. The maple on this really hit you in the taste buds, the aroma. If you like maple, pick this one up. I loved this beer. Once again, this was Black Noel from St. Laurent. The beer in front of me this week is going to be from 18th Street Brewery. This is their Best Patio Pils. Say that 10 times fast. 18th Street is brewed in Hammond, Indiana, and they also have a Gary, Indiana location as well. And it was named the #1 brew pub according to USA in 2019. 18th Street is most well known for their Sex and Candy, and I talked about that earlier in the show. I think sometime in the summer I had that and discussed it. But no, this one I want to try is the Best Patio Pils. So let's crack this one open and see how this one is. Oh, this pours a beautiful color. It's a very light, pale straw color. There's a good aroma here. Definitely, I like the aroma on this one a lot. They hit the flavor spot on with this. Now, they use Saaz hops and Columbus hops, which I was surprised to see. Columbus is usually more known for ales. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of them out there, but I've never seen Columbus in a Pilsner. So it has a very light, citrusy taste to it. It's very subtle, but it works well here. This is really good. I love the flavor on this. The carbonation here is excellent. It's very effervescent. It's a refreshing drink. Right now, I'm drinking this in Chicago and it's 15 degrees outside, but I could definitely see having this in the summer. They call it Best Patio Pils. I could definitely see having this out on a patio, having friends over. This would be the perfect beer to have just sitting out with friends, once we could all do that again. But no, this is a great beer. Pick this one up. It's Best Patio Pils from the 18th Street Brewery out in Hammond, Indiana. Excellent Pilsner. It's everyone's favorite segment. It's the JAG Offs of the Week. Who would have thought a year ago when I started this podcast I'd figure out reverb? And before I get started here, I'm minding my own business. I'm working Saturday morning. I'm just working hard, minding my own business. And I have a text notification from my lovely wife, Ruby. Now, last week, I mentioned that Ruby's from San Diego, and the next time we go visit, once this pandemic is over, I'd like to hit Ballast Point. Now, let me just start out by saying that I've known Ruby for 5 years. We've been dating, married for 5 years now. And every time we have flown to see her family, we have flown into San Diego. That's where her mother lives. Every time. We've never flown into another airport except the San Diego Lindbergh Airport. Now, I know my wife was born in Huntington Park, California. I know that's where she's from, but When we fly there, we fly into San Diego. So Saturday morning, I'm working hard, and I get a text message from her, quote unquote, "I've never lived in San Diego. I demand a retraction. JAG off," and in all capitals. So I guess I'm a JAG off. But just for that text, we better fly into LAX next time, honey. There was an article in the Washington Post this week that expectant parents, they fired a cannon to celebrate their baby shower. The cannon exploded and it killed a guest. Now, this is not funny. Someone died. But this whole gender reveal thing, cannons, you killed somebody, you went over the top. JAG offs, cannons. Now, the other big viral news this week outside of the cat filter was this woman named Gabby. Now, she is a woman of color, and I guess her hair care product ran out. So she grabbed a can of Gorilla Glue, and her hair has been stuck forever. It won't come out. So there was something big on TikTok, on YouTube. The woman now had so many people watching. She is now a verified user, I believe, of Twitter. She has 530,000 followers. The woman's received $6,000 in GoFundMe, and she's thinking of, and I don't know if she has yet, she's thinking of suing Gorilla Glue. What the hell is wrong with this country? I don't get it. But for you to think, well, Gorilla Glue will work, nowhere on the can does it say this would be good for hair, and now you're profiting off of your own stupidity? Jag off. Now, I've mentioned before I work at O'Hare Airport, and I happen to be off this day, but a man arrived internationally with almost $100,000 in erectile dysfunction pills, and he said, they were just going out to his friends. Hey, dude, I'm not getting any younger, You couldn't have flown in when I was working? Jag off. And everyone that's just slurping up Tom Brady, calling him the GOAT and everything else, just never forget this guy is a multimillionaire, took out $1 million in PPP loans for his vitamin company, and he bought himself a yacht. So he's a jag off. But a damn good quarterback, but he's still a jag off. Oh, Congressman from Texas, Ron Wright. On the 5th of February, he's tweeting that, the Democrats are choosing teachers' unions over the well-being of their students for reopening schools, things like that. Congressman Wright died of COVID right afterwards. Jag off. The Associated Press had an investigation that found that scores of Roman Catholic churches in the United States had more than $10 billion in cash and available funds when they received over $1.5 billion from the federal government in their small business relief program. I'm sorry, if you have $10 billion in available cash that you're not paying taxes on, you shouldn't be getting money from the government. Period. Jag offs. Giant grocery store chain, Kroger. Now, their profit during the pandemic hit almost $3 billion, and they were up over 70%. Now, Kroger's used $1.15 billion towards stock buybacks and dividends to enrich the executives. The workers get no hazard pay at all. Long Beach, California passed a $4 an hour bonus for grocery store workers, and Kroger closed the stores there. Jag offs. Republicans all backed their girl, Marjorie Taylor Greene, even after she had a video out there where there's a giant, one of those life-size cardboard cutouts. There was one of Donald Trump, and there's a video of her speaking to her constituents or whatever, when she takes her hand and rubs the crotch of a cardboard cutout of Donald Trump. But she's a good Christian, and they're still backing her. You're all jag offs. but at least you're still the party of family values. Authorities in France last Friday broke up an 81-person orgy. That's right, an 81-person orgy. Now, this was a party 20 miles outside of France, and it also featured, according to the police, booze, sound systems, and light installations. Now, the police said this was in breach of curfew, and there were also problems with masks and social distancing. It's an orgy, but also 81 people. Who was like that one person that got left out? I mean, I don't know, but you're all a bunch of JAG Offs. You know what you should all do? Go home and kiss your Nana, but maybe brush your teeth first. JAG Offs. Oh, but the kicker, my buddy, the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, now he put out a movie last week that was explaining all of the election fraud and everything else, and saying how votes were cyberly cast. Yes, cyberly. Votes were cyberly cast for Biden. But now also he's explaining, and this makes more sense now, but he's explaining that it wasn't Trump that incited the riots. It was Antifa. Why didn't I think of that? I'm a simple-minded guy. I didn't think of Antifa. But now, according to the My Pillow guy, the rioters were hypnotized by Antifa temptresses who hid psychoactive drugs in their vaginas. That's right. These temptresses hid psychoactive drugs in their vaginas. And if you look at the video, many of the rioters had crazed looks in their eyes. Psychoactive drugs in their vaginas. Now, wouldn't the drugs inside the Antifa hoo-has, wouldn't this have caused them to go psychoactive as well? Or are they immune to it? And you're assuming that the Antifa temptresses would want to sleep with these guys to begin with. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here, but you know, hey, he's the My Pillow guy. He knows more than I do. So all you Antifa temptresses out there, he's on to you. You need to find a new place to hide your psychoactive drugs. Jag off. That will wrap things up for this week's episode. I do thank you so much for listening. Feel free to contact me with any ideas or suggestions at dave@beerinfront.com. On Twitter and Instagram, you could follow me at beerinfront. Now, if you go to the anchor.fm/beerinfront, there is a spot there for you to leave a voice message, and also ways of supporting the podcast if you wish. Thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you next week when I'll feature Lagunitas IPA. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next week on Beer in Front.